Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. As you may know, journalists, even YouTube journalists, are able to get early access to TV shows and films before they are officially released for purposes of review. I'm here with a review of Justice League Warworld, 5 days before it actually releases in the United States. So, as it starts, Wonder Woman takes on a bunch of Jonah Hex's men in an Old West town as they've been terrorizing this town. And she sets things right before riding off into the sunset, at which point we find ourselves in another locale where Batman finds himself captured by a bunch of sword-wielding, horse-riding barbarians, whom he nonetheless helps fight some type of wizard, whom apparently he had originally been hired to fight against by said wizard. Before they can get to this wizard's castle, they end up having to dodge a herd of runaway rhinoceros-like creatures and kill a pretty big dinosaur, as well as escape from a large sea monster and a giant bat-like demon, losing a few people from their party in the process. Once they arrive at the castle, Batman and the one remaining member of the party other than him find themselves dodging traps in an enormous minotaur in a maze, and Batman ends up sacrificing his jailer to the Minotaur in order to make it to the wizard's throne room, where we find that the whole thing was a ruse to bring his jailer and his party to the apparently gun-wielding wizard so that he could kill them. But Batman ends up facing off against the wizard named Deimos to save a pair of women he was going to kill, one of whom would appear to be Wonder Woman, with the help of his jailer, who it turns out is known as the Warlord and who didn't actually die at the hands of the Minotaur. Wonder Woman, by the way, doesn't seem to know who she is, and things get complicated when the wizard turns into an enormous snake, which they do end up defeating, after which Batman and Wonder Woman walk through some type of mystical gate that opens, before we come upon Clark Kent, who's living as some kind of government agent in a black and white world, in what would appear to be the late 1950s United States, where Batman is now a police officer, and a UFO has apparently crashed. It turns out that Wonder Woman is there too and still doesn't know who she is beyond that her name is Miss Prince. She and Batman end up revealing to Superman, or Clark, that they can hear the same music that he can hear, though no one else can. And when they touch him, they see visions of some kind. When a few of the townspeople turn on them because of the fact that only they can hear the music, Clark ends up putting down one of the townspeople who attacks him, and it turns out that he and the other townspeople are white Martians. Clark, Bruce, and Wonder Woman put them down, but neither of them seem to know who they are or how they got their abilities. When more white Martians arrive in significant number via space pods, the three of them take off in a 57 Chevy police car and end up having to blow all the white Martians to smithereens by destroying a gas truck that they pass, before coming upon a barn with a hologram of a crashed ship in it. Upon passing through the hologram, they find themselves back in a full color world on the bridge of the UFO, where they encounter what would seem to be a different Martian, whom Clark is urged to kill along with Batman and Wonder Woman by Kent's boss, who survived the White Martian attack. Of course, he doesn't, and they discover that the other Martian is John Jones and that he is a prisoner himself, being tortured by his jailer. The three of them then take on the Martian's jailer, and Clark, who of course is Superman, finds that his heat vision has come in. Once they're put down, Wonder Woman frees John, and he explains that they're all on Warworld and that a machine was being used to force illusions from his mind onto the others who were all trapped there, and that he found a way to reach out to them, though it took lifetimes. They then find out that the villain of the piece is Mongol and is in league with Lobo and has apparently been cloning people to feed into various scenarios. After Lobo lets them live instead of killing them as he was ordered to, they also find their costumes but still don't remember who they are. Though Wonder Woman does seem to remember that Clark is Superman, though from a different universe than her and her Superman. Turns out that Mongol had been searching for some kind of key using the White Martians as his army, but hasn't found it, so he decides to just kill John. So our heroes lay siege to the facility and soon find themselves facing off against Mongol, while Lobo waits on the sidelines because apparently his plan was to take over the Mongol's operation. It turns out that the key Mongol has been searching for was hidden in the DNA of the White and Green Martians. So John merges himself with one of the White Martians and forms the key to the machine that Mongol's been trying to operate all of this time, intend on destroying it along with Warworld. As he's doing so, a portal opens and some weird woman retrieves Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, taking them to some kind of spaceship not far from Warworld before telling them that she needs them to help her avert what would appear to be a crisis. So it ends on a cliffhanger indicating that there's going to be a part two. So I did like this movie. I didn't think it was anything fantastic, but I did like the beginning part with Wonder Woman in the Old West facing off against Jonah Hex and his men, because it was just really cool to see Wonder Woman in that setting, and some of the visuals that they went with when Wonder Woman was using her abilities to take them on were very cool. And I did like the black and white 1957 part because it reminded me of those old style black and white sort of, an alien ship crashes in small town America type of movies or shows from that era, which were all over TV when I was a kid because I grew up in the 70s and they were on TV all the time. So I thought that was cool. I really liked the animation, and I suppose the part where Batman and the people he was with were dodging various gigantic creatures was cool. So I enjoyed it. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10, but it wasn't any better than that. It was, just okay with some parts that are really fun. But that's about it. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. And like I said, it was sort of incomplete because it ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. So it seems like there's going to be a part two, or that the next DC animation, film will pick up where it left off and in some way. So we'll have to see if they get their memories back and all that in the next film. But that's really it. That's the breakdown and review of Justice League Warworld. So I'm going to get out of here for now. I'll be back with another video soon. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.